You're tuned into the Jersey Comic Crew, and in this episode, you're going to hear us talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy appearing in Thor 4. Stay tuned to hear all of our theories and more coming up now. Thor 4, Thor, Love and Thunder. Comicbook.com broke this news talking to Vin Diesel during an interview for Bloodshot.
I'm sorry.
I heard it was not bad.
I'm not saying it.
No?
I'm not a big fan of the Diesel.
What about Bloodshot, the hero, though, the comic? Did you ever get into it?
I wasn't really as big a Bloodshot nut as a lot of other 90s kids were.
Yeah, I feel like it's very niche. Like, if you like Spawn and you want to sound a little bit more realistic, you went for that.
It's like Spawn and Hitman or like Spawn and,
I've read some of the comics that are fun, but I'm going to see this movie because I'm curious.
I'm not, because I'm not going to movie theater, especially for that.
I understand.
So yeah.
But during that interview, guys, one of the questions that I think BD is the guy's name, Brandon Davis, asked Vin Diesel was, hey, what is Thor going to show up in Guardians of the Galaxy? No, he said, what's the next step of Guardians of the Galaxy?
What's up with Guardians?
And he's like, well, I don't know if I should tell you this, but...
Well, I don't know if I should tell you this, but,
Yeah, I can't do a Vin Diesel voice, can you?
I mean, I just talk deeply and
that works, right?
See if it works. I'm good at voices, just not.
He said that we're going to see some of the Guardians characters in Thor 4. Mm-hmm. So Thor 4 is becoming a huge ensemble movie with Jane Foster's Thor. We have Christian Bale as some villain in this. We know Thor's in this, and we know we're going to see some of our favorite Guardians of the Galaxy. We know we're going to get Groot as Alpha Groot, whatever that means, and maybe Rocket. I don't know.
As Omega Rocket?
No, just Rocket. I don't know. But Vin Diesel said that's going to be Alpha Groot. So what I think Alpha Groot is, in the comics right now, Groot can actually talk.
Yeah.
And like he has spiky emo hair.
He's got like a mohawk.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
A wooden, like birchy bark mohawk.
Yeah, and he's kind of a dick.
Dick.
I love it.
He's a dick. Maybe, I like him better not talking.
Maybe we're going to see that evolution of Groot, which would be cool.
Yeah, actually give Vin Diesel something to do.
So yeah, that's my question to you. What capacity do you think we're going to see the Guardians in this movie?
I don't think it's going to be for the whole movie because I think it's already packed, right? Yeah. Like they're clearly giving Valkyrie a story.
Yes.
They're giving Jane Foster the Thor story. Obviously you have the Thor and Chris Hemsworth who needs to have a story arc, and I'm sure depending on if Loki's series, depending on what happens with that, we may or may not see Loki at some point. That's a lot. In 2 hours. Maybe in the beginning where you have your Guardians and they're kind of continuing from the end of where they left off in Endgame.
Because Thor was with them at the end of Endgame.
Thor was with them in space and Thor's kind of using them as travel companions, and you see a couple of them maybe like they're working him out to get him back in shape.
Maybe.
Which would be funny to see like an 80s montage with like the Guardian style music.
So but
I don't think it's going to be a big role. Maybe they go in the beginning, show up for the climax.
Maybe. I'm thinking, like you said, like in the beginning we see them, because originally Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was supposed to come out before Thor 4.
Yeah.
Right. And so we were supposed to see. Well, we theorized, right, that we were going to see Thor and the Guardians do all kinds of crazy adventures. They can still have that story happen in that time period, and this just happens after the fact. Like, they could always fill in the gap. They could do something weird.
They could do where, like, they have, like, a falling out of, like, in, like, Thor screaming as Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter screaming Guardians of the Galaxy as they're, like, leaving each other.
I can see as Guardians of the Galaxy at the end of this movie. He goes back with them.
Maybe if they come back and help him, or, or maybe, like, the Guardians go off to search for Gamora and get her back.
That could be like, hey, Thor's like, you know what, just drop me off. We did a couple adventures. We don't see the adventures. Mm-hmm. And, like, he's back into shape. They could just do that and be like, hey, let me go back to Asgard, deal with it. Thor and Rocky stay with him for a little bit while the others go help something. They come back for the climax. Mm-hmm. Thor at the end is like, you know what? Let's go. We'll make the Asgardians of the Galaxy, and he leaves Valkyrie and Lady Thor to run Asgard, and then we can just see him doing crazy.
And we don't know, like, if Jane is going to be Thor for the whole movie, right? Like, is she Thor for only a part of it as well? Is she Thor for the whole thing? I
don't know.
Again, like, we know Cap had Mjolnir, so does he get Mjolnir back and he gives up Stormbreaker? Like, we don't know what's going to happen fully. Or it would make more sense for her to get Mjolnir on Earth. Yeah. Because it's on Earth. But I don't know. I don't know to what capacity every character is going to be.
Would you be upset if she
was... And probably Korg and Meek are going to be in it, too.
Oh, my God.
We got to have some Korg in that.
I would love them on the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Asgardians of the Galaxy. I would love them as a part of the team.
Hey, I'm Korg. This is Meek.
Hey, we're here busting some stuff.
Do you know what the Wi-Fi password is?
Yes.
Rocket's like, what Wi-Fi? The hell is Wi-Fi?
Would you be upset if Asgard from now on, right?
Like New Asgard?
New Asgard, right? Because I think that's what we should call it, right? For now.
It is, I think, New Asgard.
Yes, it is. You're right, it is. Like Valkyrie's queen, and you have female Thor as the Thor, and our Thor, like, just Hemsworth
like
Thor.
Hemsworth Thor's in space.
Is just in space doing his own thing. And, like, that's the, like, he doesn't even, you call himself, like, Thor, like, he still calls himself Thor. That's his name, right?
Yeah, his name's Thor.
Odin's son. But, like, she has the title of Thor. She's, like, the official Thor. She does all the other stuff, and he's just goofing off in space. Would you be okay with that kind of ending?
I mean, that's a little kind of cop-out-ish. Personally, I think it's too easy to just be like, hey, now we have a Lady Thor, and we didn't get rid of Hemsworth, so no one can be mad, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I think if they do the Lady Thor story right, where either it, and it doesn't have to be in one movie, right? It doesn't have to be in one movie. So even if she's Thor throughout, half the movie, you would say, because I doubt it's going to be in the beginning. It's going to be more of like a, first third of the movie. At the call of
action, she needs to help Thor fight him. She picks up the hammer.
And we don't know how that's going to play out. But if they do go into like the cancer, if they do go into like,
it's a good story.
Go dipping into the well of every time she uses the hammer, it kills her a little faster. And, is she kind of like, hey, screw it, I can feel fine and be a god and live out the rest of my life the way I want to? Or, and there's also a storyline in there where she like kind of ignores her true self, and they're like, and Thor and other people around her are like, you need to stop and go get like treatment.
Go get help, yeah.
And so you're okay.
She
like
falls
everyone's
into
worrying about it. It's like
cycle of denial.
Yeah, and it's like a drug, right? She keeps using the hammer and turning into Lady Thor, and who wouldn't, right? You're saving worlds, and you're stronger than anything, and you're a god.
I probably would never get out of it,
right? So like, and people are like, you need to stop and go. I think that is the heart story of it. If they do it, and they might not even announce, they might even talk about the cancer. They might not even say anything. Maybe to the end of the movie where she reveals it.
We still have a whole villain arc. We have no idea what's going to happen.
And we don't know which villain Christian Bale is yet, and how much Valkyrie is going to be in this movie, or how much Korg and Meek and all these other, and all these other.
There's
characters.
A lot of moving parts, and like this is the movie I'm most excited for. Well, now I think it is, because there's so many different avenues this could take.
Yep. And Hemsworth's great bouncing off.
Exactly.
Of everybody.
So I'm just so curious to see what they're going to do. I know it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
I know you think it's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be great.
We want to know what you think. Do you think this movie is going to be great? Are you excited to see the Guardians of the Galaxy in Thor? And especially what Alpha Groot is. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of Alpha Groot.
Does Drax actually go invisible this time?
Maybe Drax. Let us know down below. We're definitely excited to see all your crazy theories. People have been messaging us on Instagram and Twitter, all these fun theories.
Yeah.
So the more that happens, the more we love it.
Mephisto.
Ooh.